Gorging on a full Sabbath of football requires DirecTV's n.f.l. Sunday ticket. Viewers who lack the discretionary income or disposable brainwaves to indulge in that buffet, and yet are eager for a heavy dose of gridiron spectacle, will start their days with ESPN's Sunday NFL Countdown broadcast from Domino's Pre-Game HQ, or Fox NFL Kickoff with its black-on-yellow logo styled to evoke the banner of Playbill, or CBS's The NFL Today, with each host wearing one lapel pin to celebrate the flag and another to promote cancer awareness. Recently, true completists would also have had to record CBS's Face the Nation, on which, yesterday, the host John Dickerson brought Nate Boyer, a former University of Texas long snapper and a Green Beret. Last year, Boyer persuaded the quarterback Colin Kaepernick, then of the 49ers and now unsigned, to lodge his pre-game protest against police brutality and racial equality not by sitting through the national anthem but by kneeling through it, a gesture that inspired followers and spawned strife, notably pricking the thin skin of Donald Trump. Boyer told Dickerson that, though he had been perturbed to see somebody sort of protesting America and the symbols that stand for these freedoms and all that, he was sincerely eager to understand where Kaepernick was coming from. After that, Boyer said nothing much of import beyond seeming agreeable and encouraging respectful disagreement, which at least constitutes a victory over cretinism. The NFL and its broadcast partners entered the 7th week of the season evidently united in the foolish wish that this whole thing would go away. Let me know if I missed anything on the major pre-game telecasts, but a search of the dial found them studiously ignoring the situation. Fox offered an exception that proved this rule, as the in-studio host Carissa Thompson frowningly talked to the sideline reporter Peter Schrager about moving on from protest to progress. From the point of view of the league, this was a usefully empty phrase, a vessel for pretending that the point of these protests is something other than progressive, implicitly hopeful that America is on the verge of achieving an apolitical state of unity in which problems of justice have the good manners to cease existing. Schrager, in Miami, noted that 3 Dolphins had joined the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, at a recent meeting to discuss the protests. "Don't expect anyone to take a knee," he added, correctly predicting that a few players would instead stay in the locker room during the national anthem. Television's ideal football player is neither black nor white. In fact, he is not entirely human, but a computer-animated cyborg Ubermensch who appears in the interstitial bits of Fox coverage, with the network logo glowing at his sternum like Iron Man's unibeam. Despite seeming to be 8 feet tall, his fingers are sufficiently narrow and nimble to scroll through a smartphone and promote the NFL mobile app for Verizon. This fellow does a take a knee, while anchors throw to commercial, but in the manner of a superhero forcefully alighting at the scene of a crime in progress. He is, to borrow a phrase from an ESPN segment aimed at general managers of virtual teams, a fantasy projection. Clearly, the institution of football resents the intrusion of real life into its otherwise frictionless cross-promotion of American masculinity, a realm where Snoop Dogg spits anodyne bars in a Steelers jersey and plugs his new game show, and Liam Neeson barks a game day intro in prelude to an ad for an action film. But no wattage of celebrity and no volume of Bud Light can lull the spectacle into innocence now. There was a particular cruelty, given the state of affairs at the White House, in one pre-game bit that accidentally encapsulated football's apathy about political discourse. Here, an animated fantasy football segment starring Rob Riggle, late of The Daily Show and the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve, played off the famous Schoolhouse Rock civic affairs cartoon I'm Just a Bill. "We're Just Two Picks" was its title. 2 singing scrolls of paper vied for the attention of Riggle, who was depicted as a Chiefs fan emerging from an alcohol-induced coma following his team's Thursday night loss to the Raiders. The bright side of the broadcaster's reluctance to engage with politics is that viewers are spared the embarrassment that would inevitably result. The NFL is a business enterprise where announcers are often capable of addressing the sport's most pressing on-field issue only in tones of gallows humor. To wit, late in the Panthers-Bears game, the defensive end Akiem Hicks was slow to get up after the whistle. This prompted some brain injury comedy in the booth. "They'll take a look at him for a possible concussion," said one announcer, proceeding to note that, of course, Hicks' teammates gotta pat him on the head. His partner mildly marveled, "It's just part of the deal, Dan." Dan was more stunned than Hicks. Unbelievable, even the head coach got in on it. They turned tonight, and TV's turned to NBC's Sunday Night Football, where the Patriots hosted the Falcons and resumed a humiliation that had left off at the Super Bowl. Thick fog settled over Foxborough, forcing novel camera angles, which were the only novel angles we'd get that day. America fell asleep in front of the set and, waking, warily checked Twitter. By Trump's tally, 24 NFL players had continued to kneel for the anthem. No leadership in NFL. Meanwhile, Jemele Hill, the ESPN anchor whose suspension for anti-Trump tweeting was at an end, cleared her throat on Twitter. Taps mic is this thing on. She was preparing to return to air, in advance of a Monday night contest between the Philadelphia national emblems and the Washington racist caricatures. Are you ready for some football?